everybody. It's been a minute since I have been able to sit down and really make a video. The semester is over. I'm free for the summer. So I decided, why not do a semester wrap-up? Kind of talk about all the books that I've read since the semester started, because I have not had time to sit down and talk about them. I have, however, been reviewing most of the Kindle books and most of the books that I've read over on my Goodreads account, if you guys want to go check them out. They're super brief, but they're there. So, like I said, this is going to be a semester wrap-up, so it's going to be a lot of books that I'm going to be talking about today. I've made a list. Let's get started. Okay, so I set my Goodreads goal to 40 books this year, and I am currently at 37, so I'm going to talk about all the ones that I read once I started school, so mid-January to the end of May. So yeah. This semester, I actually finished the entire Shatter Me trilogy, the novellas, and the new book in the Shatter Me world, Restore Me. If you guys don't know what Shatter Me is, it is a YA post-apocalyptic story about a girl who has this tremendous power where you can't touch her. She gets taken from this asylum where she's at. Things happen. She finds out that everything is not what it seems, and it gave me a lot of X-Men vibes as I was reading it, especially towards the end. But it is by author Tahara Mafi, and overall, the 4 books and the novellas I gave a 5 out of 5. Book 1, which is Shatter Me, I gave a 4 out of 5. Unravel Me, which is book 2, I gave a 5 out of 5. Ignite Me, which is book 3, I gave a 5 out of 5 as well. And then I gave the newest book, which is Restore Me, that just came out this year, a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed the series. I was super, captivated and enthralled by the series and the writing. It's a type of writing I hadn't seen in a while, where it's a lot of crossing out, and it was just a lot of fun to read, and it was really enjoyable, and I definitely related to the main character, Juliet, a lot, and this is her story, and it's so good, so good. I had a lot of fun reading it. Okay, so the next books I read are Illuminate and Gemina by co-authors Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. So these are the first 2 books in the Illuminate Files trilogy. I picked these up this year because my friend was insisting that I pick them up. I didn't actually read the physical copies of either book. I listened to them on Audible, and I would highly recommend them. They're super amazing. The production value for those books is super intense. So basically, the Illuminate Files follows a series of events that happened after something went down on a planet, and we follow in book 1, which is Illuminate, our 2 heroes, Ezra and his love interest and her love interest, Katie. So they're both the main characters of the story, although to be truthful, it's more of Katie's story, and we follow them and all of the crazy stuff that happens to them. And then Gemina is book 2, which follows a different set of main characters, but it still connects back to the first book. I definitely enjoyed book 1 a lot more than I enjoyed book 2. Book 2 is good, but I think it's just the novelty of the first one. I super duper enjoyed it like a lot. The story is told through files, like I said, so it's a very unique style, very weird, weirdly placed together, but it works really well, especially in Kindle audio version, because every voice is different, and it was intense. I ended up giving book 1 a 5 out of 5, and then book 2 a 4.5 out of 5. So the next book is Proof by Seduction by Courtney Milan. So this is an adult historical romance, and it's the first time I've read a book by Courtney Milan, and I enjoyed it. I'm actually looking forward to reading the second book in this series, although for some reason I couldn't get into the cover of it, because the cover model of the second book in this series looks like Samwise from like The Hobbit, and it really threw me off, so I wasn't able to continue it, but I definitely enjoyed it. So it follows a woman who is pretending to be like a fortune teller, there we go. And so she's a fortune teller, he's like a rich baron dude, and like he's super grumpy and she's super reliable, and I really enjoyed their dynamic and the way that they ended up getting together, because this does include a happily ever after. The hero was one of my favorite heroes I've read in a while. I obviously gave this book a 5 out of 5, and I'm hoping to pick up the rest of the series soon. So next we have Nevernight by J. Kristoff as well. So this is the first book in a trilogy. I am currently reading God's Grave, which is very interesting. So Nevernight is a high fantasy story that follows Mia Corvair, I hope I said her name right, and she is on a mission of revenge after her family is, you know, wronged. I don't want to get too much into the specifics. I enjoyed Mia a lot, so her first part of the journey was a little hard to follow for me, but once we got to like what we were really getting into, I definitely felt myself enjoying the story a lot more. I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 because of the beginning. I was urged by a lot of people to read it, and I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm reading book 2, and I'm actually sad that book 3 is not going to come out until like 2 years from now, basically. So next we have Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Doe. I hope I said your name correctly. So I believe this is also part of a trilogy, and it follows our main hero, Shi Fang. Hope I said that right too. And this is kind of a villain origin story. This is also YA, and it is her trying to become Empress, and she is not a good person or not a good character, and I've learned this after reading the book that it was a not Snow White, evil queen retelling, and I can definitely feel those vibes as I was reading it, which was a lot of just I was super anxious for Shi Fang a lot of the time. I found myself, you know, rooting for her through the whole book. So I'm excited for book 2. It comes out later this year. So next we have Sinner by Sierra Simone. This is an adult romance as well. This is actually supposed to be the second book in like a trilogy or something like that, following the brothers. I don't remember their last names. And so I picked this one up because I saw the cover at the Rib Bodice, and it had a really like weird, oddly vague synopsis. So I picked it up, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars because there were some things in there that I was iffy about. I definitely wouldn't recommend it to everybody. There are definitely some content warnings that I want to talk about before I would recommend it to anybody. You know, has some religious stuff in there, has some age gap differences. It does have one of my favorite tropes, which is the teach me trope. So I enjoyed it. I'm actually curious now for the first book, but it's not something that I'm gonna pick up immediately. So next we have From Scratch and Inheritance by Katrina Jackson. These are shorter like novella type stories. They're like the Welcome to Seaport. I picked it up after a lot of people recommended it to me on Twitter, and boy am I so glad I did. So the first one, From Scratch, follows a former teacher, now baker, who moves to this like remote nothing town, and we have a cop and a firefighter who were both Marines that served together, and they all kind of meet in, well, the two of them are, you know, officers, and they meet with our main heroine, which is Mary. Well, Mary is just an icon. Like, let me just tell you guys, she was amazing. And we have Santos Anats, who are also great. Oh, did I mention this is a polyamorous relationship? It was so cute. It was so healthy. It was just so amazing. It made me feel so good on the inside. I gave it a 10 out of 5 because it was so good. Way too short. I wanted it to be like a full-length novel, but we got about 3 hours on a Kindle, which is a novella, and I loved it so much. And then we have Inheritance, which is book 2 in the Welcome to Seaport series. It is even shorter than the first one, which I was not okay with. And it follows a librarian who moves into the town and someone that's been living in the town, and it's cute. Okay, they're both really cute and I love them. I obviously gave that one a 5 out of 5 too. Okay, so next I have the Bloodhound series by Moya Rogers, aka Brie and Donna writing duo, amazing, just co-authors. And so this had 4 books in it, and I didn't write the names down. I just know the first one is like Wilder something, and it is basically set in, so it's 4 books, it's a bundle. I bought it on Kindle because I was like, I need my fix of romance, and it was just perfect. So it follows these people who have been made into bloodhounds after the Civil War, but it's like a Civil War, like different timeline kind of thing, where instead of like the Civil War happening, it was more of like vampires took over. I'm still a little weird on the details on that. I just read it so fast. And we have these bloodhounds against these vampires, and the first book follows Wilder and I'm gonna call her Sai because I cannot remember her name. And she's like this young inventor, and they go on a mission to try to find her mentor, and you know, sexy times happen and they fall in love, and it was just a lot of fun to read. It was just one of those where like, oh, like the tension was high and it was a paranormal kind of thing, and I definitely found myself enjoying the first one. I like the other books as well. They were good reads, but the first one was my favorite. Overall, I gave the series a 4.5 out of 5. I just wanted more. I wanted more because it ends off in like a where it's maybe gonna give you another book and then it doesn't, and then I'm just like, what's going on? But I definitely enjoyed like the bloodhound aspect of it and like the paranormal kind of aspect of it. So the next one I read was Protecting Their Mate, also by the amazing co-writing duo Briandana, aka writing under Moira Rogers. And this one was supposed to be like an 8-part series that they like published separately, and it's basically about this woman who finds out she's a werewolf and she gets picked up by this pack, and there's a lot of sexy times, like a lot of sexy times. I ended up giving this one like an overall 4 out of 5 because there were some plot things where I was just like, I wanted more out of it, and I didn't get it. And I'm gonna read, I think eventually, like I think they have a second part to the story, but for now I definitely enjoyed the first one. Again, I was just looking for my fix of romance, and it hit the spot, man. It hit the spot. Okay, so next I finally picked up Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo because King of Scars was coming out, and I was like, I have to. And then the book was only like $3, and I was like, count me in. So this is the first book in the Grisha trilogy, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it a lot. I found myself super intrigued to find out like what exactly like happens to Alina and how, you know, we get from this to Six of Crows, or if there's any correlation, or like just more of the world building than I saw in Six of Crows, because I found myself super in love with Six of Crows. And it's definitely different, but I find myself enjoying it. Like everybody kind of like gives me of like I don't even know how to explain it. Like everybody's like, oh, this one's so much better, and it's different, but I find myself enjoying this book a lot, even though I kind of already know what happens in the end, but it's the journey that counts at this point. So I'm actually reading the second book in that series at the moment, and I'm super excited. I like Alina as a character, which is apparently like an unpopular opinion. By the way, I totally hate Mal. So yeah, so I'm working on that. So then next is His Cocky Valet. Forgot to write the author's name down. I'm so sorry. I will try to leave it somewhere here. It's actually written after like this huge thing that happened on Twitter for like the romance community, where someone was trying to like trademark cocky, and this author wrote this book out of spite, and I applaud them because oh my god. So The Cocky Valet is a male romance where it's kind of like, I think has like a dom son kind of relationship, so it was just a little bit different than I've read. I ended up giving a 4 to 5. There's a huge age gap, there's like submissive stuff, and it was just, there's some parts where I was blushing at what was being said, and then obviously like I'm not into that particular trope, but I found myself enjoying the story after all. Ash is such a pretty beautiful character, and I found myself just wanting to like coddle him too, so I had a lot of fun reading that. After that, I read the entire Beyond series. So for those of you who don't know, the entire Beyond series is 9 books, including 3 novellas in just book 1 through 9. So this is written by, again, the amazing co-writing duo Briandana, aka Rocha. I read this series, guys, in a month, like literally 1 month. I read books 1 through 9, and then her sequel kind of following series, Gideon's Riders, in a month, and all of the accompanying short stories and novellas, because I was so enthralled and so just in love with the series. Oh! So, book 1 in the Beyond series is called Beyond Shame, and it follows Noelle, who is this woman who lives in the city of Eden. It's a post-apocalyptic romance. It features a lot of bi and poly characters. There's a lot of sexy times, there's a lot of dom and sub situations, BDSM, like all of, you know, swapping partners, different partners, all of that. So if that's not something that floats your boat, then I wouldn't recommend the series, but I recommend the series. Anyways, book 1, Beyond Shame. It's free on Kindle if you have Amazon. I suggest you go check it out. So it follows this gang of bootleggers called the O'Kanes, and we live in this place called Sector 4, and we live in a post-apocalyptic world outside of a city called Eden, and there's 8 sectors. And our main heroine, falls into Sector 4, and this book empowered me so much. I loved it. I'm actually going to be doing a reread soon so that I can adequately make videos talking about my feelings about how much I love this series. So that's Beyond, the Beyond series, and then we're talking about Gideon's Rider, which includes 3 books at the moment, Ashwin, Deacon, and Ivan, which Ivan is probably one of my favorite books ever now. And it follows Gideon's Riders, who are part of this world that we established in Sector 4, and in the Beyond series, it's Sector 1. It's great, amazing, loved it, perfect, beautiful. I just, yes. I 10, 10, 100, 100 would recommend. So those are all of the books that I read this semester. I actually just finished Scythe, so I'm not putting it on here yet because I literally just finished it last night. But those are all the books that I read. I believe I'm gonna go with 30. I read 30 books during this school semester, which is actually quite a lot for me. My biology grade definitely shows that I was reading a lot. But yeah, that is my semester wrap up. I will hopefully be doing a lot more videos on all of these books separately and giving them reviews individually because I want to talk about all of them because I didn't get a chance to talk about all of them. But yes, this has already gone on way too long. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to hit that thumbs up. I can't speak today. If you want to see more of my face and more videos like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. I would 100% million percent appreciate it. If not, that is all for me. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or night whenever you happen to be watching this. Happy readings. Adios.